Zachery Mosley, better known by his stage name Timbaland, is an American record producer, songwriter and rapper. Timbaland's first full-credit production work was in 1996 on Ginuwine the Bachelor for R&B singer Ginuwine. After further work on Aaliyah's 1996 album Million and Missy Elliott's 1997 album Supa Dupa Fly, Timbaland became a prominent producer for R&B and hip-hop artists. As a rapper he initially released several albums with fellow rapper Magoo, but later released his debut solo album Tim's Bio in 1998. In 2007, Timbaland released the first album in his Shock Value series, Timbaland Presents, Shock Value. In 2009, Timbaland Presents, Shock Value 2 was released. His work ranges from Aaliyah, Ginuwine, Missy Elliott, as well as other R&B artists of the mid-90s, to Jay-Z, LL Cool J, Ludacris, and other hip-hop artists of the early and mid-2000s. In 2006 he produced Justin Timberlake's album FutureSex LoveSounds, which sold over 10 million copies worldwide and spawned hits such as SexyBack, My Love, and What Goes Around Comes Around. In 2006 he produced Nelly Furtado's Loose, which also sold 10 million copies worldwide and had hits such as Promiscuous, Maneater, and Say It Right. In 2006 and 2007 alone, Timbaland was responsible for 16 Billboard Hot 100 Top 10 singles. Early life: Zachery Mosley was born on March 10, 1972 in Norfolk, Virginia. He graduated from Salem High School of Virginia Beach, Virginia. During his time as a DJ, he was known as DJ Tim, or DJ Timmy Tim. His brother, Sebastian, is 6 years younger. Timbaland began making hip-hop backing tracks on a Casio keyboard. While attending high school, he began a long-term collaboration with rapper Melvin Barcliff, who performed under the name of Magoo. The teenage Mosley also joined the production ensemble SBI, which also featured Neptune's producer Pharrell. Mosley was also high school friends with Terrence and Gene Thornton, who would go on to be known as Pusha T and Malice of the rap group Clips. In 1986, when Timbaland was 15 years old, he was accidentally shot by a co-worker at the local Red Lobster restaurant and was partially paralyzed for 9 months. During this time, he began to learn how to DJ using his left hand. Singer and rapper Missy Elliott heard his material and began working with him. She and her R&B group Sister auditioned for Devante Swing, a producer and member of the successful R&B act Jodeci. Devante signed Sister to his Swing Mob record label and Elliott brought Mosley and Barcliff along with her to New York, where Swing Mob was based. It was Devante who renamed the young producer Timbaland, after Timberland construction boots and Magoo became part of S.C.I. Zachery's school stable of Swing Mob signees known as Da Basement Crew, joining artists such as R&B singer Ginuwine, male vocal group Aaliyah, and the girl group Suga. Timbaland did production work on a number of projects with Devante, including the 1995 Jodeci LP The Show, The After Party, The Hotel, and Sister unregistered trademark S-Dar copyright but LP for all the sisters around our world. Elliott began receiving recognition as a songwriter for artists such as R&B girl group 702 and MC Lyte. Due to Timbaland's connection with her, he was often contacted to produce remixes of her songs. Career, 1994 2002, focus on production work and Tim's Bio, Live from Da Basement. Timbaland began his producing career strictly for R&B acts. In the early to mid-1990s, he produced a few songs for R&B acts such as Jodeci and Sister. In 1996, he made his mainstream breakthrough by producing the majority of both Aaliyah's second album One in a Million and Ginuwine's debut album Ginuwine the Bachelor. This included the major hit singles If Your Girl Only Knew by Aaliyah and Pony by Ginuwine. While Timbaland was initially producing for R&B artists, his trademark sound was very much rooted in hip-hop with its fast-paced nature and clear drum breaks. He was taking a hip-hop sound and applying it to R&B, and in this way his sound was instrumental in blurring the distinction between hip-hop and R&B production. In 1997, he fully produced Supa Dupa Fly, the debut album of Missy Elliott, who had been a childhood friend of Mosley. In this album Timbaland continued with his now trademark electronic production style, but since Missy frequently rapped, the music was considered hip-hop. Timbaland's sound was something very different from typical hip-hop up to that point, which often had a gimmy sound and used samples. Timbaland's clean, electronic, and non-sample-based productions were something very new to hip-hop audiences. Also in 1997, he released his first album with his partner Magoo, Welcome to Our World, also a hip-hop album. In the late 1990s, his hip-hop production sound would become very influential and common as he produced for many high-profile hip-hop artists including Jay-Z, Nas, and the LOX. In 1999, he scored a major hit with Jay-Z and rap group UGK with the hit Big Pimpin'. He also fully produced Missy's second album in 1999, Da Real World. Still, Timbaland in this period produced primarily for R&B artists. He continued to produce for Ginuwine and Aaliyah, as well as contributing significantly to albums by XSCAPE, Nicole, Playa, and Total. He remixed Usher's major hit You Make Me Wanna. In the early 2000s Timbaland produced songs including Ludacris' Roll Out, Jay-Z's Hola Jovito, Petty Pablo's Raise Up, and Beck's cover of David Bowie's Diamond Dogs during this period. He also contributed 3 songs, all eventually released as singles, to Aaliyah unregistered trademark's self-titled third album, the exotic lead single We Need a Resolution, More Than a Woman, and the ballad I Care For You. He also makes an appearance in Aaliyah's single Try Again, which he also produced and co-wrote. Timbaland and Magoo unregistered trademark's second album together was slated for release in November 2000. Indecent Proposal was to feature appearances by Beck, Aaliyah, as well as new Timbaland proto-copyright Gar copyright Zar some from his new Beat Club Records imprint, Miss Jade, Kylie Dean, Sebastian, Petty Pablo, and Tweet. The album was delayed for an entire year, finally released in November 2001. It was a commercial disappointment. Beck unregistered trademark's vocals for the track I Am Music were not included on the last version, which instead featured Timbaland singing along Steve Static Garrett of Playa and Aaliyah. The first release on Beat Club was the Dark copyright but album by Bubba Sparxxx in September 2001, Dark Days, Bright Nights. The loss of Aaliyah deeply affected Timbaland. In a phone call to the MTV show Total Request Live, Timbaland said, "She was like blood, and I lost blood. Me and her together had this chemistry. I kinda lost half of my creativity to her. It's hard for me to talk to the fans now. Beyond the music, she was a brilliant person, the most special person I ever met." 2003 05. Production work for pop recording artists, Timbaland contributed 3 tracks to Tweet's debut album, Southern Hummingbird, and produced most of Missy Elliott's 4th and 5th LPs, Under Construction and This Is Not a Test. He also produced tracks for artists such as Lil' Kim and Southern rapper Pastor Troy during this period. Collaborating with fellow producer Scott Storch, Timbaland also worked on a number of tracks on former NSYNC lead singer Justin Timberlake unregistered trademark's solo debut, Justified, including the song Cry Me a River. Late in 2003, Timbaland delivered the second Bubba Sparxxx album, Deliverance, and the third Timbaland and Magoo album, Under Construction, Part 2. Both albums were released to little fanfare or acclaim even though Deliverance was praised by reviews and embraced by the internet community. In 2004 Timbaland produced singles for LL Cool J, XZIBIT, Fatman Scoop, and Jay-Z, and he produced the bulk of Brand New unregistered trademark's 4th album, Aphrodisiac. Timbaland co-wrote 2 tracks and produced 3 tracks of the American-Japanese pop star Hikaru Utada unregistered trademark's debut English album, Exodus. He continued working on tracks for Tweet and for Elliott unregistered trademark's 6th album, The Cookbook, Joy, and Party Time, and continued to expand his reach with production for The Game and Jennifer Lopez. 2006 07, Loose, FutureSex LoveSounds and Shock Value, Timbaland started a new label, Mosley Music Group, bringing some talent from his former Beat Club Records label. On the new label were Nelly, Furtado, Keri Hilson, and rapper DOE. In 2006 he produced Justin Timberlake's second solo studio album FutureSex LoveSounds. His vocals feature on the songs SexyBack, Sexy Ladies, Chop Me Up, What Goes Around / Comes Around, and on the prelude to My Love entitled Let Me Talk to You. Timbaland provided vocals on several singles, The Pussycat Dolls' Wait a Minute, Nelly Furtado's Promiscuous, Icebox by Marion, and Justin Timberlake's SexyBack. In an interview published in August 2006 in the UK, Timbaland revealed he was working on a new LP by Jay-Z and that he had worked on tracks with Coldplay unregistered trademark Chris Martin. Timbaland worked on 7 songs for BJ Paragraph RKA unregistered trademark 2007 album, Volta, including Earth Intruders, Hope, and Innocence, and he later worked on tracks for the new Duran Duran album, Red Carpet Massacre, including one featuring his frequent collaborator Justin Timberlake. Later in the year, Timbaland produced songs for Bone Thugs-n-Harmony's LP, Strength and Loyalty, and the song AU Technology on 50 Cent unregistered trademark album Curtis. Timbaland also produced most of the tracks on Ashlee Simpson's third CD, Bittersweet World, including the song Out of My Head. On April 3, 2007, Timbaland released a collaboration album featuring artists including 50 Cent, Dr. Dre, Elton John, Fall Out Boy, Nelly Furtado, Missy Elliott, and others called Timbaland Presents Shock Value. A rivalry flared up between Timbaland and record producer Scott Storch in early 2007. The tension initially started on the single Give It To Me, when Timbaland anonymously backlashed Storch, "I'm a real producer and you, read just the piano man." In an interview, Timbaland confirmed that he was talking about Storch. The dispute partly stemmed from controversy regarding writing credits for Timberlake's Crimea River. 2008, focus on other projects. Timbaland helped produce many albums for various artists in 2008, including Madonna's Hard Candy, Ashlee Simpson's Bittersweet World, Keri Hilson's In a Perfect World, Flo Rida's Mail on Sunday, LaToya Luckett's Lady Love, Lindsay Lohan's Spirit in the Dark, Chris Cornell's Scream, JoJo's All I Want Is Everything, Nicole Scherzinger's Her Name Is Nicole, Missy Elliott's Block Party, Matt Poker's MP3, Kythian's DIRTY Pop, The Pussycat Dolls' Doll Domination, Busta Rhymes' BOMB, Lisa Mafia's Miss Boss, Tyria Ramarez Pressed for Time, Jennifer Hudson's Dark Copyright But album, Dima Bilan's Believe. Samantha Jade's My Name Is Samantha Jade, New Kids on the Block's The Block, and Keshia Chanter Copyright Night and Day. Timbaland produced the Russian entry The Eurovision Song Contest 2008, Believe by Dima Bilan, which was co-written by Bilan and Jimbians. The song then won the contest when it was held in Belgrade, Serbia in May 2008. In February 2008 the first Fashion Against AIDS collection, an initiative of Designers Against AIDS and sold in H&M stores in 28 countries, was launched, for which Timbaland designed a t-shirt print, posed for the campaign and spoke out in a video, to help raise HIV/AIDS awareness among urban youth and to advocate safe sex. On February 8, 2008, it was announced that Timbaland would be releasing an album exclusively for Verizon Wireless's Vcast cell phone service and was designated its very first mobile producer in residence. Timbaland was to be joined by Mosley Music Group's own singer-songwriter Keri Hilson to begin work on the mobile album, a unregistered trademark's first track aboard the fully equipped mobile recording studio. The only track to surface so far is Gary Barry Larry Harry Get It Girl. In Timbaland's first effort within the video game industry, he worked with Rockstar Games to produce Beaterator, a music mixing game for the PlayStation Portable, PlayStation Network, and iOS, released in September 2009. In September 2008, it was announced that Timbaland would be inducted into the Philosophical Society of Trinity College, Dublin as an honorary patron in October 2008. 2009 2010, Shock Value 2 and Burglary Case. Timbaland spoke to MTV's Showing Reed back in July 2008 to confirm that he was working on the follow-up to his platinum-selling Shock Value. At the time he confirmed that he had one track with Madonna which, although recorded for her album Hard Candy, it had not been used and could end up on this album instead. He was insistent that he would also collaborate with Jordan Sparks, Bianca Copyright, Rihanna, Jonas Brothers, Miley Cyrus and T.I. However, none of these collaborations made it to the final track list. He also said that alongside T-Pain, who will definitely appear, he hoped to get Jay-Z on board, although he ultimately failed to do so. Timbaland began working on the sequel to Shock Value in July 2008. In March 2009, he filed a lawsuit against his label, Blackground Records, alleging that they attempted to blackball him after he decided to move from music performance into production. In September 2009, Timbaland announced that Shock Value 2 will be released on November 23, in Europe and November 24, in North America. However, it was pushed back to December 8, preceded by the first single, which features a new recording artist named So Shy entitled Morning After Dark. New featured guest appearances on the album include DJ Felifel, Justin Timberlake, JoJo, Brand New, Drake, Chad Krueger, Sebastian, Miley Cyrus, Nelly Furtado, Katy Perry, Reese Thero, The Fray, Jet, Daughtry, One Republic, Kerry Hilson, Attitude and DOE. Ultimately Madonna, Jonas Brothers, Rihanna, Usher, Jay-Z, Bianca Copyright, Kanye West, Linkin Park, The All-American Rejects, Paramore, Gucci Mane, T-Pain, T.I. and Akon never appeared on Shock Value 2. Shock Value 2 is infamous for its use of over-the-top vocal effects. Despite charting low, Timbaland has had 3 top 40 singles to date. Morning After Dark featuring So Shy and Nelly Furtado was the lead single from Timbaland's third studio album. The song was written by Tim Mosley, Jerome Harmon, Deborah Epstein, Michelle Bell, Kerry Hilson, Nelly Furtado, James Washington, John Maltzby and produced by Timbaland and JROC. The single premiered on October 16, 2009, on Ryan Seacrest's KISFM radio show, On Air with Ryan Seacrest, with Timbaland describing it as the kick-off song from the project. Following her performance, the song was sent for radio ads on May 25. The song peaked in the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100. With this success, the song became Sparks' 5th consecutive top 20 hit and 3rd non-consecutive top 10 hit. On May 24, Sparks headed to Europe to begin promotion for the single. Say Something featuring Canadian rapper Drake was released to US iTunes on November 3, 2009. It was officially sent to US radio on January 5, 2010. It is the album's second single and reached number 23 on the Hot 100, making it the second most successful single on the album. Carry Out featuring Justin Timberlake is the third single from the album but was initially only released in the US. It was sent to US radio on December 1, 2009. It is the most successful single on the album, peaking at number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100. The music video premiered on February 18, 2010. It was released as the third UK single on April 26, 2010. If We Ever Meet Again featuring Katy Perry is the album's fourth single. The music video premiered on January 18, 2010. In the UK, it was released February 15, 2010. Timbaland worked with Nelly Furtado, Katy Perry and British X Factor winner Leona Lewis on their upcoming projects. He has also produced tracks for Mariah Carey, Wyclef Jean, Missy Elliott, Stufj Burkina, Keshia Chanter Copyright and Jay-Z's upcoming albums. Timbaland also produced Chris Cornell's 2009 album Scream. Shakira was asked to record vocals on the song Give It Up to Me to be included on Timbaland's forthcoming album, but it was placed on her third studio album She Wolf and released as the second US single instead. One of the songs Timbaland had produced for Bianca Copyright's 2008 album I Am. Sasha Fierce was reworked by Kerry Hilson and Jay-Z for Shock Value 2 but not included. He was a guest host of WWE's Raw on December 28, 2009. Timbaland appeared on the 25th March 2010 episode of Flash Forward as an evidence agent. His songs, Morning After Dark, and Symphony, appears on the video game, Def Jam, Underground, On March 26, 2010, it was reported that Steven Tyler, intrigued by the 2009 Chris Cornell record Scream, would be teaming up with Timbaland to record a rap album. Guest appearances by Reverend Run and Daryl Mack of Run DMC, Kid Rock, and T-Pain are rumored to be featured on the new project. In April 2010, a feud between the producer and R&B singer, Ginuwine, arose after Timbaland failed to make an appearance at the singer's music video shoot of Get Involved. Later in April, Timbaland released a new single featuring T-Pain and Billy Blue titled Talk That. In June 2010, when questioned by a WD magazine about the UK music scene, he made the bold claim to be the inspiration for the dubstep music scene. The UK scene. The unregistered trademark always telling me that I started it. You have dub bass. When questioned further about it, he went on to say, unregistered trademark s funny cause they went back to some of my old music that really created that sound and just, instead of going fast, they went slow with more bass. In August 2010, a possible suicide attempt APB was put out for Timbaland after his home was burgled. When his family were unable to contact him, they called 911 and a manhunt began. Police eventually found his car and brought him back home, where paramedics examined him, before declaring he was not a threat to himself. When questioned, Timbaland said he only took a drive to think about the burglary, as he thought the possible thief could have been someone close whom he trusted. 2010 present, opera noir and recent activities. In 2010, Timbaland split with longtime label Blackground Records, but stayed with Interscope Records. Later in the year, Timbaland was featured on the deluxe edition of Chris Brown's album, FAME, producing the songs Paper, Scissors, Rock, and the Japan-only bonus track, Talk Your Ear Off. Timbaland was also featured on David Guetta's LP, Nothing But the Beat, on I Just Wanna F. with Dev and Afrojack. Timbaland also worked with teen star Demi Lovato. He produced and had a small feature in her song All Night Long on Lovato's Unbroken album. In November 2010, Timbaland announced that he would be releasing a new song every Thursday, called Timbo Thursdays. A copy of the initiative shown by artists such as Kanye West and Swizz Beatz. In an interview with rap-up.com, Timbaland stated, so, my brother told me Kanye's putting out a new song every Friday called GOOD Fridays, Swizz got Mondays. I don't know if they are on Twitter, but can you hit them up and tell them reserve that Thursday for Timbo the King baby. We unregistered trademark LL call it Timbo Thursday, cool? On January 13, 2011, Timbaland began his Timbaland Thursdays free music initiative, with the first song released being Take Her Clothes Off, featuring Missy Elliott. Kerry Hilson revealed that the songs that Timbaland was releasing through the initiative come deep from within his vast back catalogue, so there was a good chance that she would be featured on at least one of the records. In early 2011, he stopped the weekly free music as he spent time in South Africa, and wanted to help produce tracks for his brother, Sebastian. The first official single from Shock Value 3, Pass At Me featuring Cuban rapper Pitbull, with uncredited production by French DJ David Guetta, was released on September 13, 2011, after having been previously used to promote a book titled Kulo. The album's second single, Break Your Back featuring American singer Dev, was released on April 17, 2012. For the fourth installment in the Step Up franchise, Step Up Revolution, Timbaland released a track called Hands in the Air, which features American singer Ne-Yo. On January 30, 2013, Timbaland signed to Jay-Z's label Roc Nation. Later in the year, Timbaland would serve as the main producer of Justin Timberlake's recent LP, The 20/20 Experience, including the album's singles, Suit and Tie, and Mirrors. Timbaland has also recently produced Bianca copywriter's song Grown Woman, which was featured in her Pepsi commercial and 2013 tour, the Mrs. Carter Show World Tour, and the song I Don't Have to Sleep to Dream on Cher's 2013 album, Closer to the Truth. In August 2013, Timbaland revealed that he is working on a project featuring unreleased material by Michael Jackson, with a lead single called Chicago. On September 24, 2013, Timbaland collaborated with T.I. for his new co-produced Indonesian artist, Agnezmo, in her song titled Coke Bottle. The premiere launch event of the single became Twitter worldwide trending topic. On November 15, 2013, Timbaland revealed his new single for his fourth album, Opera Noir, called Know 'Bout Me featuring Drake, Jay-Z, and James Fauntleroy. It was sent to U.S. rhythmic radio stations on November 26, 2013. His new album featured only two artists, CeeLo Green and his new artist called V. It hit iTunes on December 3, 2013. In 2014, it was revealed that Timbaland and Missy Elliott would contribute production to Cat Dahlia's upcoming debut album, My Garden. Plagiarism. Timbaland's plagiarism controversy occurred in January 2007, when several news sources reported that Timbaland was alleged to have plagiarized several elements in the song Do It on the 2006 album Loose by Nelly Furtado without giving credit or compensation. The song itself was released as the fifth North American single from Loose in July 2007. Timbaland's legal troubles would continue. In lieu of a copyright lawsuit over the song Throw It On Me from his Shock Value album, Timbaland and David Quarterbassy, the composer of Spaz, a song originally recorded by the Elastic Band and released by ATCO Atlantic and EMI, reached a settlement agreement in July 2009. The terms of the settlement remained undisclosed at the time. Spaz, noted as being one of the most tasteless records ever made, was initially banned by radio stations and even pulled midstream while on air when first released in 1967, with the DJ even apologizing to his listeners for playing the record. In January 2014, the Swiss newspaper Bala Zeitung revealed another plagiarism case concerning the track, Versus by Jay-Z, which was produced by Timbaland. The track's instrumental is very similar to, if not directly sampled from On the Way by Swiss musician Bruno Spoeri. Thomas Crown Studio, Timbaland built a private recording studio in Virginia Beach. The studio was conceived and developed with longtime recording engineer, Jimmy Douglas. The studio is managed by Garland Mosley and Brian Bird. This full-service audio production center has been created in an existing 5,000 sqaft two-story industrial park building. A complete renovation of the building resulted in a two-studio recording and post-production facility, and continues the growth of the Virginia Beach music community, that has spawned the likes of the Neptunes, Missy Elliott and Nate Danger Hills. Tours. Timbaland was supposed to support Shock Value on the Shock Value 2008 tour in Australia, but the tour was cancelled one day before it began. In early 2010, he toured 13 cities in North America from January 15, 2010 to February 3, 2010, on the Shock Value 2 tour. Discography. Solo albums, Tim's Bio, Live from Dar Basement, Shock Value 2, Opera Noir, Timbaland and Magoo albums, Welcome to Our World, Indecent Proposal, Under Construction, Part 2, References. External links, official site, Timbaland on Facebook, Timbaland on Twitter, Timbaland's channel on YouTube, Timbaland at AllMusic, Timbaland at Yahoo Music, Timbaland at Billboard.com.